Greetings. In this part of our discussion about the Israeli nation, we are trying to uncover the truth about their history as terrorists. In previous videos, we spoke about many issues regarding this nation, how they were always small in number, they did not fulfill the promise of the Lord to Abraham as an offspring of Abraham, and the fulfillment was in Ishmael, not in Isaac and the Israelis. And now we reached to uncover their terrorism, their massacres, their mass murder, the bloodshed, what they have done to the Palestinians 3,000 years back, and they are repeating today for the last 70 years after World War II, when the stupid West helped them to come back to Palestine, not God. They lie and say God helped them back. No. Those who say that, they are lying, rotten liars. God had nothing to do with it. It was the stupid West who brought them back to Palestine. Very well, let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 10, and verse 5. Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon and made war against it. Well, Gibeon, allied with Joshua and the Israelis. They wanted not to have war, and Joshua said, fine, you will serve us, and we will accept. So now the 5 kings, they came against Gibeon, not against Joshua. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, slack not thy hand from thy servants, come up to us quickly and save us and help us. For all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor therefore. Okay. Verse 8 says, and the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thine hand. God is behind all this terrorism. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. Don't leave anybody standing. All of them should be dead bodies lying on the ground. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon. Great slaughter. A huge massacre. And who is helping in this terrorism and this mass murder and massacres? God himself, according to them. How Christians, believe in this God? Why they say they believe in this God? This is beyond me. And chase them along the way that goeth up to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah and unto Makkedah. Verse 11 says, and it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth Horon, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them, unto Azekah, and they died. There were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. God committed more massacres than the Israelis ever did. Hailstone from heaven. What for? What for? Why he did this? If this is true, if this is a real history, I don't trust any of this anyway. But if this is real history, why God is such a terrorist? Why he's helping such a terrorist nation? What for? Give me one reason, one good logical reason. Why the God of Israel is doing this? I mean, planet Earth, 3,000 years back was almost empty. Why this country that is full with people, full with kings, full with children, he had to, you couldn't take him anywhere else? All the beautiful land on earth. 500 years back we discovered the beautiful USA and North America. Couldn't God take him to some similar place? Or up in Europe. Europe did not exist back then. 3,000 years back, Europe did not exist. All the beautiful green land of Europe. He had to bring them to Palestine where there are people to slaughter them, to commit huge massacres. And he helped with hailstones from heaven. Such a horrific God. And they accuse Islam and Allah of such. They take the miserable teaching of their book and they throw it on Allah and Islam with their lies. Because the people don't read. Jews and Christians don't read. Only few of them do. And when they do, they hide it. They cover it up. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. So much rotten myth is found in the Judeo-Christian book. And here's another example. The sun stood all day long, all night long, did not move, vertically up, 24/7, 24 hours, stood up. And the miserable thing that, people believe this, that the moon at the same time with the sun, they were in heaven, existing side by side, standing still, not moving. So they are not moving, meaning, what? Planet Earth is not moving. Because on the same spot over Palestine, the sun and the moon, standing still, 24 hours, all day, all night. And they have scientists, nuclear physicists, astronauts, among Jews and Christians, yet they believe in this nonsense. Does that make any sense to you? To me, it doesn't. This is evil, rotten myth and fiction. The whole cosmos, the whole universe stood still. Why? Because Joshua is going to war and he needs the light and he needs the hours to finish. The whole universe stood still. Well, everybody back then, 3,000 years, did not know the construction of this universe. And what happens if this take place? What disasters will take place on Earth or in the solar system? So they believe because they are naive. But what is the excuse of today's people in the 21st century to believe this rotten myth? Now, verse 13 says, "And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?" Jasher? Where is this book of Jasher? Why it's not included in the Word of God, that they call it the Word of God? Look through the 66 books. Tell me where I can find the book of Jasher. What this book is talking about. What Joshua, the book of Joshua, is telling us. About a non-existing book, or something that the Israelis, decided it's not from God. So why it's mentioned? If it's not from God, why you left it here? The name is clearly mentioned. Go to the book of Joshua, verse 13, chapter 10, the book of Jasher. Write, if you want, in the search, Bible search, Jasher. You can find it so quick. Then come back and tell me, where is this rotten book found? And there was no day that before it or after it, of course. All right. So, myth, rotten myth, fiction, lies. On top of that, bloodshed in abundance, rivers of blood from the Palestinians at the hands of the Israelis and their God. This is the big picture. And they teach it to their children. So this book really, if somebody can do something about that book, something needs to be done against the terrorist book of the Jews and the Christians. Take care.